Power, product, and quotient rules with negative exponents. I've listed our steps, which of course is to apply the outside exponent to each item inside parentheses. We're going to need to move the exponents to make them positive, and we need to add and subtract the exponents, or in other words, simplify. We need to make sure that we're not forgetting our big or our whole numbers in the process. Alex will have two variations of problems as you work this topic. So I've decided to do an example for both. So we're going to work on the left side one first. And if you notice, our outside exponent is on this set of parentheses, which means we need to apply this negative exponent to each item inside this set of parentheses only. So I'm going to rewrite it. And so we've got 3 to the negative 3, x cubed to the negative 3, y to the negative 3. Oh, that's a horrible negative 3, isn't it? All over z to the negative 1 to the negative 3. Okay, and I'm just going to bring this one down just to make sure we're not forgetting that it still exists, but we're not really doing anything with this at the time. Okay, so we're going to go through and we're going to kind of move stuff around and kind of clean this up. So one of the things is we're going to kind of leave this alone temporarily. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of bring it down for right now. Okay, we need to multiply these. So 3 times negative 3 gets us negative 9. And then, again, remember we've got that invisible 1 here. So 1 times our negative 3 is negative 3. We need to multiply these. So we get z to the positive 3. Okay. Now I'm going to start moving everything around. And at this point, we can kind of make this one big, huge, long line, because really this is kind of over 1. It just they don't write it like that on a regular basis. So we're looking at this. We need to move all of the negative exponents to make them positive. So I'm going to redraw my line here. Well, y to the negative 4 needs to go to the bottom. So I'm going to put it here, and it becomes positive now. Z to the 7th is positive, so it's going to stay on top. 3 to the negative 3 has to move to the bottom. So now we got 3 cubed. X to the negative 9 has to move to become positive. Y to the negative 3 moves to become positive. And z to the 3rd stays where it is. I'm kind of running out of room, but hopefully we can kind of combine everything with this last step here. Okay, so we're going to look. 3 cubed is 27. Okay, now our y's, they're both on the bottom. They're both like bases, so that means we're going to be adding them. So we've got y to the 7th. We only have x to the 9th, so we're just going to rewrite that. But we have z to the 7th here. Let me change color so that way we can kind of see. We've got our z to the 7th here and our z to the 3rd. Since we're dividing, that means we have to subtract. So 7 minus 3 is 4. 7 is the bigger exponent. So our z to the 4th stays on top. Okay, so that's our first type of problem that you'll see. The next one is very similar, except we don't have a fraction right off the bat. But we're still going to be distributing this outer exponent to everything inside the parentheses. So we're going to put negative 3, make sure you put those parentheses around it, to the negative 2, x squared to the negative 2, u, negative 2, z cubed to the negative 2. Okay, and this will come down here in a little bit. We're going to kind of go with it because I write too big, guys. I write too big. Alright, so this we're going to kind of leave alone for the moment. And then we're going to go back and we're going to multiply that. So that gets us x to the negative 4th. U to the negative 2. And then we're multiplying this. So z to the negative 6. And as you can see here, every single thing is negative. Every single exponent is negative. So that means it's going to have to be moved to the denominator, which means we only going to have 1 in the numerator. So negative 3 to the squared, because we're moving it at this point, is going to be 9. Okay, and then we're going to have x to the 4th, u squared, and z. Oh, bless me, I'm so sorry. To the 6 on bottom. Okay, but what I almost forgot is that we have this part here. So I'm going to kind of bring it down. And so really it's kind of right here. It's in the numerator. And so we still have to simplify this out. So our 1 is still going to be there. We know that for sure. Okay, but this x and this x, they need to be subtracted. The 4 is bigger, so our answer will be on bottom. So 3 minus our invisible 1, or 4 minus our invisible 1 is 3. U squared cancels this u squared. They just subtract each other out. Ends up being 0. Okay, so they just go away. And now we've got z to the 6th left. And this is your final answer.